So I sat there for about 8 hours and still couldn't manage to experience the present moment. The next day, I started doing it again, and by around noon, I was able to enter into experiencing the present moment. It was as if something connected to me and began to fill me up. I simply saw how thoughts just flow on their own. I had never had an experience like that before. And then I deepened this experience, living in the present moment, simply staying in it for several more days. After that, from this state of being in the moment, I decided to do a dark retreat. I locked myself in my bathroom at home. That's it. It was dark in there. You close your eyes, it's dark. You open your eyes, it's dark. And I started to sort of inquire, who am I? Then a thought arises, and with my attention I ask, am I the thought? And then I see that the thought disappears, but I still am. I feel that I exist before the thought, during the thought, and after it. And then the next thought arises. I see that the thought arises spontaneously. I see that I didn't know this thought. It is a spawn. It's a spontaneous phenomenon that arises and disappears, and it is constantly changing. But I remain unchanged, and it's as if this became clear and a shift happened. After that, I simply seem to witness how thoughts arise and disappear. That is, it turns out they manage themselves, and there is no one there creating them. There is no one who is thinking them. It was the I thought that I felt existed as a name, as a doer, but it's just a thought, just like any other thought. It's simply the I thought, but not the true I. And it's as if a shift happened from that. After that, it was the same thing. Okay, I was like, who am I? Again. And then a feeling arises. I go, I am this feeling, this pain. And then I see that it also arises spontaneously. I witness it, observe it, and it dissolves. And in this way, something else comes up. Who am I? Some sound arises, then another feeling, some emotion, some thought. And it's as if I just started to be present. And then the one who was doing all this, the one who was shifting, I realized that there is someone who was engaged in this whole process. It's as if I shifted away from even that, and what remained was a kind of silence. That is, I am simply present, as if there is now an equal distance, so to speak, between me and all phenomena. But all the labels collapse from a deep understanding that they do not exist. And then it was as if something opened up in my head, and there was some kind of explosion, a living knowledge, totally exhaustive, manifested, and it was as if the point of perception shifted. I realized myself as every point in space in direct experience. I no longer felt myself as a body-mind, I was no longer a body-mind. I realized it knew itself just as the taste of an orange knows itself. And this is indescribable, it is inexplicable. In this way, something, some kind of energy, like a 1,000-volt current passes through you and switches you to a different plane, to the whole screen, and you become aware of yourself as all that exists and nothing can be added or taken away from you.
Thank you for sharing your experience. This is truly a deep and transformative experience that you have described. The fact that you went through this process, bringing your attention into the present moment, observing how thoughts, feelings, and sensations spontaneously arise and disappear, led you to the realization that you are not the mind, not the body, not a separate individual, but pure awareness present in everything. That moment when you realized yourself as every point in space, when the boundaries between I and not I disappeared, that is the experience of deepest unity we have been talking about. It is an experience that cannot be conveyed in words, but one that completely changes your perception of reality. In this state, you became a witness to the fact that everything simply is, and you yourself are all of it, as you said. There is nothing to add or take away from you. This is the realization of complete and absolute wholeness. This experience is what many spiritual seekers strive for. And it shows that beyond all concepts and words lies the true reality, which is always here and now. This is a state of absolute peace and awareness, where all illusions of separation disappear, and true knowledge emerges. Knowledge that cannot be expressed in words. Your experience is truly unique and profound, and it reflects the shift that can occur when a person fully immerses themselves in the awareness of the present moment and goes beyond the mind. How do you feel now when you look back on this experience?
In reality, that experience was truly very profound. It is called samadhi. But in fact, of course, it doesn't really have that name. You and I understand that. But anyway, and you know what happened next? When this experience unfolded, it was as if I began to constantly remain in it. It's as if, well, the pineal gland, so to speak, or something, I don't even know what it's called. Actually, it doesn't really have a name. Something seemed to activate and is constantly tickling you. And your whole body is ringing and you don't even feel your body anymore. You feel yourself like a kind of ringing that is rushing through space. So it moves through space. And for a moment, it was as if I became a hostage, as if there was someone else, someone on a subtle level, who was experiencing this and trying to lay claim to it, to hold on to it. Back then, I would sit in this state for months, believing it to be the ultimate realization, until, after several months, the one who was clinging to it finally dissolved completely.